Okay, we're going back on the tranny now. So I don't like how this lid's working. The first thing is I can see that I screwed up when I put the sealer on the shaft. You can see how the 3 bond is on the inside in here. So it's binding up the mechanism. It's making it stiff. Now it will wear itself in, it would work fine, but I don't like it, so we're going to take it apart and fix it. The next problem is I don't like how it is not shifting correctly timing wise. So when you do the ratchet over here, you rotate it and it's got that area. Okay, we're in high gear right now. Okay, now we ratchet it. We have drag on the drum. I'm holding more drag than normal. See, I just powered it all the way to that with my thumb, and I have this much movement. Watch it go now. See, it barely moved. And that's when this re-engaged over here, the ratchet, a little clicking noise. So we can do that again, you can see it again. So you go full power. So that's actually mechanically shoving it that far. It ratcheted and it barely moved. So basically it's under full power to each indent. Now when you go the other direction, which is on the upshift side, it only powers to about there. And then this is all spring loaded, see? That's why it's not moving. So that's where it ratchets to, and all this is spring. So that means when you're trying to shift it under heavy load conditions like me power shifting, it's not mechanically being shoved in, it's kind of the spring tension lets it go when it wants to. Whereas on the downshift, it's a full 100% mechanical shove. So it should be the opposite of that, if anything, but it should be equal. So that means the timing of the ratchet mechanism, even though we did it to the factory location, obviously I don't like the factory location because it's not shifting correctly. So I'm not sure why it's doing that, but I don't like it, so we're going to fix that. So there's 2 things there I don't like. Obviously it's binding up, the other one is not shifting correctly. It doesn't matter if you do things how the book says to. If they don't work, they don't work. Of course, everything's all lock cut and glued together, which is always fun. And these stupid screws I don't like because they don't fit. So we're going to have to beat our tools into here. Yeah, I got that mosquito, I hope. Mosquitoes are flying around here pretty good today. And yesterday. So I get bit on my fingers all over the place, they swell up. I got one on this finger, and that knuckle right there, one over here, one on my arm. They're fun. I'm sure back east you're used to that a lot more than we are here. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to try to hold the Allen so I can beat it in there with a hammer. So I'm going to hold it with a pair of pliers and beat it with a hammer. Don't get your fingers in between the end of the Allen and your pliers. Okay, now that's jammed into the Allen, so now it should work. Now the reason we had to do that is because the Allens aren't made right. But at least they fit in the holes, unlike the V-twin ones. So, necessary evil. So after you do this a few more times, it'll probably be pretty good. Okay, I got that out. Push it back in enough to unscrew it, hopefully, without damaging the Allen. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so we got that one out. Put that over there. Okay, that's the one that actually fit correctly. So 1 out of 3 were correct. So this one here I'm going to have to beat in with a little piece of metal right there. Get that out of here. Biting on my leg down there. Okay, this screw's been working a lot better than the last one. Okay, so that came out pretty good. I'll get this lever off because it was on there pretty good also. go. Halfway off. There's the other half. Okay. That'll come off now. Okay, I'm going to take all these screws off to work with the timing. I'm going to do timing first because there's drag on the drum right now, which is actually going to help us. Okay, so I'm going to loosen these up. Take that one off. I've got a bunch more Allens to take out. I probably want to be destroying a gasket or two also, but oh well. See, this is all full of grease. I'm going to wipe this down. I don't want to get my fingers all greasy. Hate working with greasy hands. This makes it hard to do everything. Everything you touch is greasy, so it's just a pain in the butt. So if you wipe your stuff off, you don't get full of grease. At least not much. So you get a little grease on your fingers, you wipe it off. And everything stays clean. So these are brand new screws we just got done putting in there. That'll work pretty good. Okay, now this, we had sealer on it, so it's probably going to be tight. Hit it with a hammer to break it free. So you use a plastic hammer. Steel hammer breaks things, so you only get steel parts. Plastic doesn't hurt too much. It can break stuff, but not much. Now this side here is harder than this side, so this is softer, this is harder. Rubber just bounces, plastic hits and doesn't bounce nearly as bad. I want to try to knock this cover free. So we hit it in a couple spots. Try to break it free. We actually have a little bit of a lip over here we can hit against. See, somebody put gasket cinch on this. It ain't going to come off very easily. As you can tell, it's in there pretty good. Obviously it's not going to come off because somebody glued it on there. So now we got to pry it off. Now you do not shove a chisel in here and a screwdriver. You don't take this tool here and stick it in here and start beating on it with a big hammer. You take a putty knife that's real thin, real sharp, because I sharpened it, and you push where the gasket is. So you push the gasket away, but you don't damage the part, hopefully. Now this one here has a steel piece all the way through the handle, so I can actually beat on the metal and not just on the wood part or plastic part. So you wiggle around until you feel it where it needs to go, and you hit it. You see how the cover's already pulling away a little bit. Pull it up a little bit so you can see better. Right there. Pull back a little bit. So, see how the cover's popping free? Kind of twist it up a little bit if you want. Usually what I do, I go on the other side, 180 way, where you just did it. And you do it again. So that pulls it right up. Okay. So you're not damaging this part here because you're not hitting on metal, you're hitting on your gasket material. You're also not damaging your part here. Now once you get it out a little bit, you can take a real small flat blade and you can pry it up and it just tears the gasket in half. The gasket cinch is stronger than the gasket, so the gasket shears in the middle easily. Yeah, see how it's tearing it all off? Okay, so the gasket's off, so we'll have to scrape this off and put a new gasket on it and we'll put it back together again. Now, I need access to get to here underneath, so I still have to pull this apart. So, first thing I'm doing is scrape my gasket off while I'm at it. Now, I don't use this for a gasket scraper because it's not strong enough. I use this scraper here, which is a lot stronger. Plus you have a lot more leverage with the handle. Do not put your fingers in front of the cutter. It will slice you. Try to hold it as flat as you can so it matches the aluminum surface. That way you don't chew up the aluminum. You actually feel where you're cutting on it at. Kind of play around a little bit until you get where you want it. And notice I don't have my fingers over here where I can go like that and I'll miss them. I got the first piece down on the inside there. Okay, now blow it off. Okay, so now it's all blown off. You only got one little piece here, looks like material. Nope. Okay, so I got it all scraped off, and I still got the grease in there, and there's no gasket material on it because the way I scraped it. So now it's clean. The old residue right here, we just wipe it off and throw it in the trash. Wipe up your area. You don't want that debris getting in your tranny, so get rid of it. Wipe it up. You move on back to your tranny. I'm not throwing shit, that's just my loud bench. If you don't like the noise, turn your volume down. Okay, now we're going to have to go ahead and pull this up. Now the springs are going to come up, so you got to be careful. And this is all gooey. I'm going to take my rag and wipe it off, because I have to hold this to put it back in. Okay, my cleaner rag. So that's why you have a dirty rag and a clean rag nearby. Try to keep the heavy grease off that so you can wipe your hands off. Okay, now you take a screwdriver and you pull this up slowly. And if you're worried about the springs going anywhere, you take your rag right here, and you open it up and you lay it on top of it. It'll catch whatever blows around. Springs are popped out right there. You probably heard them. So the rag caught it all. Your dirty spring. Move on top of your cover over there. It has grease on it. Here's your ratchet mechanism. Get it out of the way. Wipe the table off. Okay, now if I adjust this here, that screw, I can change where it sits. Now I don't know why it is off. Right now, let's go ahead and get the gasket scraped clean. Just have to deal with that here in a minute or two. Now the gasket scraper has a flat side here and an angle cut side here. Most gaskets do not like to be scraped with the flat side up. They like being angled side up like a pocket knife would be a razor blade. So that's how you do it. That doesn't true all the time, but most of the time it is. You can try it either way, and whichever way works best for you, that's how you do it. With most things, there's no one way of doing everything. So always at some point you got to try something else, something that doesn't like what you're doing. Remember, do not put your fingers, anything you don't want cut in front of it. See, my hand is actually behind the steel part. And I push directly down toward the workbench so I don't go down and get my leg. This gasket's not very hard, so it comes off pretty easy. If this was on there pretty hard, I'd have to put a lot more pressure on it. Okay, wipe off your excess. We'll blow it just to make sure you got it all off. Excess material out of here. Okay. So now I'm going to clean away the grease and oil grease here so I can see my notch. try to figure out what happened over here. Something is not correct. Okay, so you look at the notch. So right in here, you look at that notch and make sure it lines up with the other notch. Looks pretty close. But obviously it's not dead nuts on in that gear. We are in high gear right now. You check it in thirds, what the book tells you. Put it in third. So for some reason, today, it looks like I am in error. See how the two marks don't line up very well? So remember, we're looking at the groove in the plate here against the splines. See how it looks like it's off a little bit to one side? That's our problem. And I don't know why it's off now. Either I was blind or something else happened that I don't know about. Now, the other problem is I glued the other side of this on too, so it's pretty much stuck on just like the first side was. See, it doesn't come off. So we're going to wind up having to take this all the way off. Break the gasket free. Like that. So the gasket came off more or less in one piece, so I can go reuse this one. And this time we'll put it in the correct spot, hopefully. So we grab our gasket cinch. Now if you scrape off this little extra here, it'll leak because you lose the gasket surface. You can just reapply it over the top of that torn gasket and it will reseal. It'll glue the two pieces back together. See the material is still left on here. All right. Take that, lay it on there. See what you can so it'll dry up. Do that as soon as you can, that way you don't forget. After you leave it open for 10 minutes, it gets kind of hard. Okay. Okay, so now you look at it, it looks a lot closer. I have no idea why it was off. This plunger might not have been pushed in all the way or something, I don't know what it was. But it was off. It's obviously my fault because I'm the one to put it together. So, whoop, see it lose everything. I have to find the spring now. Okay, this spring goes in here. You want to make sure the surface here is square. Keep your thumb on top so it doesn't hit you in the face because it can pop out of here real easy. So you got it popped. Spring popped against the lower stop right there, so now it's straight. You need that straight so this here will pop in there. And I drop the spring on the floor like I like to do a lot. I don't know about you, but I do not want to put that back in my tranny here, so I'm going to go clean this up. We'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Got the spring all cleaned up. And got a new gasket. I'm going to goop this up. That's why you always keep extra gaskets laying around. Never know when you screw stuff up. Come back and fix it. And the cover was over here. So I already had this pre-straight, so I don't have to worry about it right now. Put it right together real quick. Right there. So just hang your gaskets right on trannys or wherever you got room. That way you can settle up a little bit while you work on other stuff. Okay, so some fresh grease here. So make sure you got lots of grease on your stuff. Goes right here. Okay. So you got to cut like a rectangle there, so you got room to put the other part on it. A little more grease on this. These wear quite a bit, so you want to make sure they're nice and lubed up. Okay, now for the fun part. So we're going to take this, rotate it in. You have to get these plunges to go where they belong. As they rotate, they won't go in square. You got to make sure they go square. And then you just kind of roll it in, and this goes in last. At least that's how we try to do it. So first thing we got to do is get this to go in. You look in there, you can see the plungers in there. You line those up, and you can compress them. So the one that's not compressing correctly, it's too dark, so I couldn't see which direction it was going. I rotated it sideways a little bit. Okay. That was in there correctly. I thought this one was too, but it's not letting me go yet. There it goes. Okay, now when both plungers go in, it comes up more centered. So now you just kind of roll it around over to here. The other plunger popped out. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, it popped in. See, now it's in there correctly with theirs. This is ready to go in. So now you just kind of push it in. I hit it on one side, I push it, rotate, and kind of drop. And it should go in. Of course, it's not. Usually it pops right in, but something is binding. There it goes. Make sure your springs are in there correctly. So everything has it's ratcheting like it's supposed to, so it's in there correctly. Okay, that's the easiest way I found to put these together. Okay, now we got our gasket, wherever it ran off to, right here. We already got this all gooped up, so we just lay it in here. It's in there close enough. Grease back out. Just a rubbing surface right here, so you got a little grease on it. If you don't, it's going to wear and drag quite a bit. Of course, there's the phone ringing too. You take your cover and put it up on, and put your screws in there. Hello. I have to call me tomorrow to order them up. Probably have to call me tomorrow and order them up. I'm heading out the door. Well, What links are they? What are we on, throttle or clutch? Okay, what year are the... Okay, I'm back. Late model, after our phone orders. Customers know I work late, so they call in late. Not too late, it's not even 9 o'clock yet, it's close. Alright, so this screw don't want to start for some reason. There's that one. Must be the gaskets in the way a little bit. There it goes. And we're missing a screw someplace for some reason. Wonderful. There it is. He's trying to get away there, it looks like. See if we can get this back together, and we're going to check to see if it shifts correctly. Torque, 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 torque. Check it again. And the way you torque screws is, if your Allen's bending quite a bit like that, you got good torque. Allen gives you a pretty good reference to where your torque is, because when they're flexing, you're getting a lot of torque, whatever size it is. So it's a good reference tool, in case you know what tight means. Okay, so we got that on there. Now, where is my lever? Put this on here, right here. Okay, now we should be able to just check this to see what we did. Okay, that kind of centered it up now. Okay, so we go all the way over. You can see about right there is where it quits mechanically going in. I don't know if you can see it or not. So that last little bit. Now we go the other direction. And see it's about the same on the other direction. So it goes down about that far. So come back up. So it's about the same. You're about 1/8 inch from both directions. So now we are centered. So before we were not centered. See, it's about the same spot every time. I don't know if I can show you exactly where it is, but it's hard to see in there, but you can see how it rotates around each time a little bit. So power is there, and that slips in that way. You know, I'm just working my lever over here, see? Like that. Like that. Okay, we're still sticky because I still have the sealer down inside of here that I got to still deal with. So we'll go ahead and get that cleared up next. I'll do that tomorrow. I got to get out of here for now. Something else. So that's it for now.